The government initially established this committee in 2017 under the leadership of Premier the Honorable David Burt, JPMP, and my colleague, Mr. Derek Burgess, JPMP, when the Bermudian Charter of Rights and Responsibilities of the Elderly and Adults in Need of Long-Term Care and Assistance was developed. This charter framed the guidelines implement agencies, which led to the development of a code of practice in 2018, and subsequently implemented to provide standards, criteria, and guidelines for setting the minimum requirements for the operations of Bermuda's residential care and nursing homes. The Ministry of Social Development and Seniors welcomes the members of the Aging Well Committee so that the necessary work can continue to enhance the quality of life for seniors in Bermuda. In alignment with global trends, Bermuda is experiencing an aging population. Our 2016 census showed that there are 10,704 seniors aged 65 years and older, with seniors accounting for 17% of Bermuda's total population. And by the year of 2026, it is projected that roughly 25% of our population will be older than 65. Based on this rising trend and building on the work previously done, the Aging Well Committee will be directly engaged in those matters related to improving the well-being of Bermuda seniors. The committee will make recommendations to the ministry on critical areas impacting seniors, such as comprehensive planning and accountability, strategic workforce development and education, employment and financial security for older adults and caregivers, healthy aging, aging at home, accessible transportation, and long-term care, and intergenerational and inclusive communities. Overall, the community will advise the ministry on existing and emerging aging-related issues and the best practice protocols. Conduct research and produce deliverables as directed and approved by the minister. Develop and support aging well awareness events and public engagement in coordination with the Aging and Disabilities Services. Upon request, provide a review of amendments to legislation and government policy as it relates to seniors. I am excited to share that the immediate mandate of the Aging Well Committee is to produce a guide of benefit to seniors and steer a public awareness campaign on aging well for all ages. At this time, I would like to introduce you to the Aging Well Committee members. The committee members comprises of 17 members, inclusive of a chairperson and officio members who are here with me today. To my right is the chairperson of the Aging Well Committee, Mrs. Ianthea Simmons Wade, JPMP, who has been the chair of the Aging Well Committee since 2019. Her entire career has been dedicated to health, long-term care, and seniors in the private, government, and third sectors. Ms. Simmons Wade is a strong advocate for Bermuda seniors, and in her role as chair, will continue to ensure that seniors always remain front and center with all legislation and are able to live in dignity. Our other committee members are Mrs. Dawn Simmons, our administrative assistant, former members, Ms. Selena Fields, Ms. Lynn Wade, and Ms. Sharon Swan. Our newly appointed members include Ms. April Augustus, who has operated a mental health shelter for an aging population in New York. Ms. Augustus has also experienced operating the Matilda Smith Williams Nursing Home and West Meath Residential and Nursing Care Home. Dr. Shangri-La Durham Thompson, who has a keen interest in helping to drive change towards a more nurturing culture that would benefit our seniors. Mr. Derek Flood has a background in psychology and sociology and international child welfare. Mr. Flood also has experience in caring for several family members who are seniors. Mrs. Wendy Greenridge Fogo is a qualified lawyer, but formerly worked as a nurse and was employed at the Packwood and Pembroke nursing homes. Mrs. Angela Jewell, by profession, is an educator and motivator who has specialized in pensions and investments and is passionate about ensuring seniors are educated regarding their financial well-being. Mrs. Christy Joseph has worked in the healthcare profession for 14 years and is a certified transformational life coach. She advocates for seniors and encourages the general public and organizations to give back to our seniors. Mr. Floyd Ming is a retired senior whose professional career in IT spans over 20 years. Mr. Ming has experience in the healthcare sector as a recreational therapist assistant and support worker. Ms. Josephine Otterbridge is a retiree who has served the community in various capacities, such as working as a reserve police officer and being a member of the Hamilton Parish Council. Ms. Crystal Rodriguez is a registered architect who is passionate about our senior population and the issues seniors face, such as aging in place. Dr. Sylvia Shorto is the executive director of the Lifelong Learning Center at the Bermuda College and is committed to improving the well-being and quality of life for seniors. The committee's ex officio members represent the Bermuda Health Council, Mrs. Jamae Smith, and Ms. Akila Reed, and Aging and Disability Services, Ms. Kiona Balbuda. On behalf of the government of Bermuda, I want to thank the members of the Aging Well Committee for their willingness to serve. I am confident that your passion, collective wisdom, and experience will be an invaluable asset to helping create a community that ages well together. The ministry received an overwhelmingly positive response to the expression of interest request for the Aging Well Committee. And I want to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone that applied. While I could not select all applicants, there will be more opportunity for the involvement of those who are interested in serving our seniors. Thank you, and I welcome any questions. Or, Mr., do you want to say a few words?
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who has agreed to serve in our committee and all the individuals that support us. One of the things that I always say, aging affects us all. And as we stand here, I'm sure many of you are listening and thinking, my grandmother, my aunt, my sister, or anyone else. So aging has an impact on us all. And I hope as a community, we work together to make this an age-friendly community. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Foster, Skelton, Bermuda Broadcasting. I just want to say the original committee was set up in 2017. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you said he was active in building charter of rights and codes of practice, standards and guidelines for operation of care homes. Can you tell us some tangible difference that has been made for our seniors in that 5-year period?
In this regard, as the Aging Well Committee, we advise or we provide suggestions for various ministries. So when we're going to the ministries, we talk about, I'll give you some examples. Some of the things that we do are things that won't necessarily, I would say, as a non-senior, you would think will be important to you in terms of increasing pensions, in terms of increasing future care, benefits in future care, having funds that help to improve accessibility of homes, increasing prescription drugs. So even though from the Aging Well Committee, it comes specifically from ministries, but these are some of the things that we encourage the various ministries to do to improve the lives of seniors.
You were in those changes some of the changes that have been made over the past 5 years, you'd say this has been instrumental in.
We're not taking credit for it all, right? Because it
but
is
you're in the
ministry,
background.
but we're hoping in the background we can look at various things that will make a difference with our seniors.
Said the first job of the new committee is to produce a guide for seniors. Can you give us at least an outline of what will be in that guide?
So in the guide, right now you have various facilities, organizations, and businesses that do things for seniors. We don't necessarily know about it. Someone came to me the other day and said, oh, you know, you funded so-and-so for 20% on such and such a day, but I didn't know anything about it. So what we want to be able to have is information that any senior will know about a service, a discount, or anything that a business organization does for our seniors. Something very, very comprehensive.
And sometimes it can be very difficult navigating through different services where you have to go to this place for one thing, this place for another. It's helpful to know where the information is actually located so that persons are not having to go all over the place to try to gather information.
Now, we also know that Aging Well as a concept overall inevitably requires a comprehensive healthcare system. And yesterday, the Ministry of Economy and Labour launched a public consultation on addressing the challenges of an aging population. If we don't increase the population, healthcare burden will increase on the rest of the population and possibly on seniors themselves. Do you have any comment on that, Minister?
Yes, it first of all starts with healthy lifestyles. And with the what the Ministry of Labor is doing is looking at the working population, because what we create when we don't have enough working persons is a dependency that we will not be able to afford. In this instance, the Aging Well Committee, I'm sure, will take a look at that document and also give recommendations and suggestions in regards to that. But there are so many other facets as far as aging well that is important, that you can have the best healthcare plan system in the world. If you are not concentrating or making a conscious effort to age healthy, then that really does not matter. But preventative care is important. Having access to healthcare is also important, and that is also part of what will compromise strategy for aging going forward.
Most people think, and you asked the question, you talked about healthcare. People also think about long-term care. But when you have an increasing aging population, which is going to be approximately 25% in the next 10 or 15 years, you have to think of things like transportation. So when grandma can't drive anymore, she still has to get to the grocery store. When you're looking at social programs that are out there. So aging impacts on every ministry in this government. That's why it's so important that we focus on aging to ensure that our seniors don't break the bank in terms of the additional services that we have to provide. Because as you know, seniors are living longer, and many of them are living with chronic illnesses, can't age in place, they can't stay at home. So there are a lot of challenges that will impact in every ministry in this government. And that is why we are putting so much attention and focus on this.
My final question on that, just clarify for me, is this a voluntary board or a paid board? How does it work?
They are volunteering for the future of their lives and their families and their grandmas and their grandpas. Everybody has a vested interest, including everybody over on that side, because you are going to get old. You do have parents. And I know as we talk, I'm sure many of you can identify with some of the issues and the concerns that we are talking about.
I also want to say again that there was an overwhelming response to persons participating on this committee. And so I just, people definitely want to get involved with helping with health, with aging healthy. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for applying and giving of your time and dedication and skill and knowledge and wisdom that I'm very hopeful will help progress seniors. Thank you. Okay.